So here's what happened. I have been suspended by the developers of Overwatch, which means I can't log in, I can't play the game, and this is my punishment. This is my hell. And here's what I think. Blizzard, the developers of Overwatch, you are hypocrites. And I'm not meaning this as an attack or an insult. This is my truth, and I will back this and validate this as this video goes along. So a little bit of an introduction. Overwatch is a 5 versus 5 player game online. So 5 people grouped together against 5 people to achieve a certain objective. Now, Blizzard over this time has had a lot of trouble managing players, right? The toxicity that happens online in voice chat or in text chat. They've done many things to try and improve the situation, like even now to be able to, record voice chats to play back. Before, only recently, you couldn't do that. So kudos to Blizzard for that. However, it does get out of hand because of certain things. For example, Overwatch is an old game. I've been playing this forever and forevermore. It is dear to my heart, but it's now becoming less and less an ideal situation for me. Newer players have come in, older players have dropped out. So the skill level between players are very different now. And what Overwatch has is a matchmaking system that matches up players supposedly of the same skill level so that they can play together, so that the playing field is fair when you're in battle. Now, the problem is I feel that this matchmaking system is really, really flawed because, there are so many times where you're playing and the skill level is just obviously very different. And it's no fault of the players. I would say this is on Blizzard. It is very frustrating for many players. And this is evident on the forums where many players complain. So this is where it starts to get toxic because people get angry. They're in the heat of the moment. The objective is not being achieved. And it's honestly, to me, it's a waste of time because it's a disrespect of time, because I'm here to, as a player, to engage in some fun and some fairness. And when the playing field is just so different, it's just not fun anymore. And I want to love this game. I really do. So let me share with you what stage I'm at in terms of the suspension. Basically, if you are deemed toxic by other players, they will start reporting you. And there's a bot that picks up on these reports. So it's not a real person. And if you get enough reports against you, you basically get a warning followed by a silence, which means you can't type or use the chat, followed by a suspension, which is where I'm at right now, where you can't log in to play the game. And if you are further toxic, then you get a ban from the game. Your account gets a ban. Now, my situation is where the bot was flagged. I got the suspension. I made an appeal, which meant I was asking for the suspension to get lifted, and I tried to justify why this wasn't fair. So a game master has reviewed my case and still deemed me guilty of toxicity and not abiding by the rules that Overwatch has. Fair enough, right? There are rules. But does Overwatch abide by their own rules is the big question, and I'm here to show you how they are not. So here is the message after the appeal of them saying to me that, they basically abide by their own stand of having me suspended. So to give you some context, what has happened is previously when I was silent, I will admit, I was a little bit more vulgar towards people who were vulgar to me, because that meant to me that you've opened up the floodgates. If you want to be rude, I'm going to be rude back right to you. I've learned since that that is not the way to go about it on Overwatch. And sure, I could be more mature about it by holding back, but just reporting them. This time around, my approach is just to be honest about what I think is going on in the game, to be, objective, to be constructive, just to highlight what really is going on. So these responses that I've made are in response to what I feel the situation has been, basically. Also, these responses are to people who have not listened, who have not been team working, who have proven themselves to be toxic to begin with, and just wasting and disrespecting everybody's time. So first of all, I used the word idiot on someone because I had been telling him again and again in the communication channel to not go so far ahead, because that's just, you're asking to die in this game, right? You always keep dying, and then he's the main tank. So an idiot basically is a stupid person, a person of low intelligence, according to the Oxford Dictionary. It is an insult. It is considered perhaps toxic and maybe insulting. However, let me justify this, and I admit that there is a bit of frustration in there. It gets me, it takes a lot for me to get to a point where I call someone an idiot, right? So, uh, but let me just tell you that in the game there are recorded character voice lines, which can be spammed or used in the game, as opposed to typing. Now, these are provided by the game itself. Okay, so a character called Junkrat uses the word dipstick. You can spam that voice line. If you call someone a dipstick, you are showing that you think they are very stupid or have done something very stupid. This is according to Collins Dictionary. This is used by Overwatch, it's recorded by Blizzard, and it can be used in game to target someone. Moira, another player, the character uses a phrase that says stupidity is not a right. And she also uses a phrase saying your ignorance frightens me. Now, Reaper uses the phrase looks like it's amateur hour. A person who is incompetent or inept in a particular activity is an amateur. Dictionary.com. Overwatch, Blizzard, you have used stupid, ignorance, dipstick, amateur, inept, incompetent. How is that different from idiot? Second word, what a loser, used by me, right? A person who has failed at a particular activity, someone or something that is marked by consistently or thoroughly bad quality performance, which is true, right? This person who I'm addressing as a loser has failed again and again and is just bad, and just not cooperating. So this is according to dictionary.com. Now, the character Reaper uses the word pathetic in his voice line, pathetic. And that means deserving pity or inspiring mixed contempt and pity, according to vocabulary.com. Hanzo, another character, uses the voice line insolent cur. A cur is a mongrel dog, especially a worthless and unfriendly one, according to dictionary.com. And according to the Merriam-Webster, a cur is a mongrel or an inferior dog. Now, I had just simply stated the truth that someone has failed at a particular activity. A loser. Pathetic, a cur, an inferior dog is a much worse insult. So I rest my case. And the last word I've used was super fail team. Now that could have easily been without a punctuation. Super fail, comma, team, right? Which we have. We have super failed in winning the game. But even if I call them a super fail team, this merely defines what I believe to be, or what dictionary.com believes to be, an unsuccessful attempt at achieving one's goal, neglecting to do something, super fail, right? Zarya herself says, you have failed your team. The character Symmetra also says, let us discuss your failures, which you could easily target someone with these lines. Moira says, absolute zero. That's a score. Okay, so that's basically saying worthless. Hanzo says, you have made an error in judgment, which is the truth. So again, me saying super fail team is really not far from what these other characters are saying. And this is in-game Blizzard. So please, this is why I stand by my belief that Blizzard, you are hypocrites. You are applying rules to players that you do not apply to yourselves. If you want this environment to really not be toxic, you set the example, get rid of all these voice lines, then you have cause to suspend people for being toxic. This is the same as when players win games and they say easy, but you have Diva, all right, saying, is this easy mode? So basically, you're just again contradicting yourselves. I am angry. I have not been enjoying myself on Overwatch, and this suspension really is a blessing in disguise because I've been so much happier these days and putting my time to better use. So, what do you think? If you have had my experience and you've been angry at Blizzard, leave some comments. If you think If you have nasty things to say about me, you can leave them in the comments too, because, you know, I'm only preaching to the choir. Obviously, I'm not going to change your thoughts if you're one of the people that I deem what I deem as an idiot, a failure, or a loser. Take care.